having just learned what the crude oil we base our economy on is made from, the dinosaurs rise again to exact their revenge. Strategic Air Command responds, and they won't be dropping anything as merciful as bombs. Just a sec, Tornado's got another call. Do you mind?
To destroy me! A giant meteor is about the only thing that's strong enough!
I got some real bad news for you on that front, my scaly friend. All the bros and Tornado
Stop ignoring me!
are getting together. So what's the deal? Their psychic seer, Mystic Meg, is a goner. Choked on a cough sweet. Bet she didn't see that coming. But as she wheezed her last, she managed to write this. At some point in the next 6 months, shit will be going down. Technically, in the next 10 seconds, falls within that, I suppose. Oh shit, it's Magnus the Red, and his sons. We only see 4, presumably the rest are just off screen. But before he can do anything wrong, he's instantly upstaged. Fucking aliens! And they mean business. Well, that's the city annihilated. That's some great hero in there, guys.
That's big.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. From your mom.
That is good.
Naval artillery happens. My favorite kind of artillery. Why, I bet you don't even have a favorite kind of artillery. This knightly fella makes a brave stand, and is bailed out by his boss, Atomic Samurai. You've lost your arm. No, I haven't. It's right over there. Stepping up with them are Silver Fox and the player character from GTA 3. Also, Puri Puri Prisoner dishes out a savage pounding.
Oh my.
While everyone's panicking and arguing and flexing, Saitama is already on board and stomping ass through the alien crew. The tentacle monster that is the ship's equivalent of Will Riker is concerned. On the ground, these humans are putting up quite a fight. This guy decides to call for fire support by sending off a messenger head. Bat, meet bat. The gang keeps slapping away, but the wounds keep healing. Perhaps a different approach would work better. Sure is fun though. GTA 3 guy notices this marble thing. Smashing it proves super effective. This just goes to show, if you can't solve a problem with violence, it means you aren't using enough violence. Saitama finds the control room and engages in a telekinetic battle of minds. A lot of stuff gets psychically thrown about, but for one day only, it's the tentacle monster who gets fucked. Additional pylons have been constructed. Bombardment's ready!
Alright, bye-bye problems.
Tornado tells them to stop littering, pick it up and take it home. Don't you know how damaging this shit is to the environment? Saitama Kool-Aids into the throne room that every self-respecting baddie has in their spaceship. This is my good pal Boros, dominator of the universe. He explains how he roamed the void, owning all before him, until, like Alexander the Great, he wept, for he had nothing more to conquer. But it was prophesied that on one faraway world, he would find one last worthy foe. Saitama gives him a licking, but he keeps on ticking. Boros hulks up, busts out all the pyrotechnics.
You're tough. Cool.
Tornado does what tornadoes do. Pick a lot of shit up and chuck it around. This guy hits on the strategy of not giving a fuck and going all in on the attack. It could use some refinement. Boros gives a very satisfied victory speech. How cool his powers are, how hard he is, how inevitable his victory was. Wait, was? Saitama isn't actually done yet, you know. Not even worked up, really. Boros busts out a move I suppose you could call the Shipwrecker.
One of these days, Alice. Bang! Zoom! Straight to the moon.
Pro tip, if this happens to you, put that rock in your pocket before you boost back. Especially if you're a cash-strapped NEET. He probably just threw away around $1 million US. Whatever. That was still pretty cool. It's starting to get a little old now though, so Saitama slaps him into paste. But Boros heals even from that, and unleashes his final move. So Saitama uses his own ultimate power, hitting him like he means it. That's GGWP for Boros, so his ship won't not be falling out of the sky anymore. This would be pretty bad news for the city underneath if it hadn't already been killdozed several times over. Saitama recreates my favorite bit from Gears of War 2. Genos and Tornado are waiting for him. He tells Genos about the bitch-ass fight he just had. Tornado feels ignored and takes it poorly. Silver Fox tells her to let it go and move on. She does. And soon enough, so does everybody else. Move on to the next big scary monster, that is. Saitama kills it in one hit.
Come on. I'm back to one punch again? Damn it!
Well, on the bright side, the McRib is gonna be back for a while. And that's One Punch Man Season 1. What a banger! This was an extremely funny series. I dig the hell out of it. I want more. I'll definitely do Season 2 at some point. Subscribe so you don't miss it. A lot of other series are carried primarily by the force of personality of their main character, and or immediate secondary characters. One Punch Man is instead carried by its large cast of supporting scrubbers, many of whom appear for only a brief time before getting punched into gibs, but all of whom are gloriously, cartoonishly over the top and full of beans, and who deftly fit together to build a world that is an exquisite biting satire of some aspects of our own. For instance, the gamified cyberpunk dystopia we live in today is extended even to the realms of superheroes, who are ranked based not just on their accomplishments, but on how cool and or sexy the public thinks they are. And so, we see all the sorts of deeply cynical behavior you'd expect to see from real, mockable people. Social media clout chasing, hazing of new guys, some real drama llamas rising to the top. It's made quite clear that a lot of these guys are in the hero business for the sake of self-promotion, or hopping on the military-industrial complex grift train, or martial arts cred, or scoring some sweet, sweet booty, or any number of other reasons that leave actual big damn hero shit a distant second place at best. Saitama, by contrast, is in it at least primarily purely for the love of the game. Not wholly, I must stress, that's Genos' thing, after all, but it's certainly top of his list. It's easy to look at him and see a pure straight man foil for the rest of the lunacy happening around him. And it's true, much of his time on screen is just that. But there's an awful lot more going on inside that perfectly round head of his than one might initially expect. While he certainly isn't averse to wallowing in the public's adoration if given a chance, he will deliberately avoid the opportunity to do so if it means damaging the reputations of other heroes. Likewise, even though he is perfectly capable of beating anyone and anything that stands in his way into chunky salsa. He never does anything more to any human that opposes him than slap them around a bit and make them cry like a little bitch. He could use his power to simply take whatever he wants, to see all who resist him effortlessly driven before him. Instead, he reflects specifically on this when fighting the violently work-shy Hammerhead, noting that there, but for the grace of God, goes him. If he were to take that road, who could possibly stop him? Instead, he lives the life of a neat loser, purely out of an adamantine moral fortitude, arising from utterly superhuman willpower, and also a deep and abiding apathy. For instance, he clearly has no idea at all where all this power came from, and at no point does that particularly seem to bother him. A refreshing change indeed from the usual cape shit, where they can't help themselves but dig into the origins of everything. Saitama very much reads as a guy who is clean out of shits left to give. That can come across as baffling or even deliberately unpleasant to other characters. But when we see as much of it as we do, it reads more as a kind of psychological defense mechanism against a world that kinda sucks, and which he finds himself less and less invested in. A fair comparison would be Dr. Manhattan, though the blue guy does take it somewhat further. While Saitama isn't cursed by the knowledge that everything he's ever going to do is already irrevocably locked into the stream of time, he does end up hanging dong in public now and again. Though he rarely shows it, it's clear that Saitama is in fact quite sympathetic to his opponents, even the monsters. After he beats the snot out of Boros, he reflects on the dominator of the universe's motivations for coming here to pick a fight, which are more than a little similar to his own for taking up his hobby of heroing. And is like, I feel you, bro. I get it. I really do. As a series, I fucking love it. I love the gloriously bombastic fight scenes. I love the abundant shit-talking from the many colourful enemies, and how Saitama takes no guff from such swine. I love the real subtle little gags that work their way in there in between all that. It's all great. However, while watching it, I'm near constantly reminded of the time my little brother, who is much bigger than me, was really pissing me off. So I tried to beat him up, as brothers do, and not only failed to hurt him in the slightest, but blasted one of the bones in my right hand to dust. Therefore, in honor of the correct punching technique, I must award this series 2 knuckles out of 10. Thanks for watching. Did you enjoy this video? Then hit all the buttons. I assume some of them do fun things. What would you like to see next? Please leave me a comment. And with that, I'll see you next time.